Welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to throw out a video on a tool that I never thought I would get. I recently picked it up. It's a cordless circular saw. I grew up with corded tools. I don't mind stringing extension cords, so that's why it's just never been on my radar. But I had a job I did for a client recently, and without going into too many details, required that I go get a cordless circular saw. Home Depot had a special run and you buy 2 batteries and a charger, you get a free tool. So anyway, that's what I picked up. Let's get into it. Here's the saw. This is a 6.5-inch blade. Typical full-size circular saw is going to have a 7.25-inch blade. This works with the Milwaukee M18 platform, which is what I use. So this was a no-brainer for me. Again, two batteries and a charger. And I got the free tool. The model number on this is 2630-20. This is a brushed circular saw. They have a brushless saw that is identical to this, I believe. But that was not really of any importance to me. This is going to really act as a trim saw for me. It's a little bit bigger than a typical trim saw with a 6.5-inch blade, but my main saw is a SkilSaw Mag77. I've used it for the last 25 years. And like I said, this is going to be kind of a stopgap, used mostly like a trim saw and just in certain situations where I need something without a cord. The saw feels good in the hand. The plastics are nice. It's got a rubberized grip, rubberized top handle. The foot on this, I believe, is aluminum. And then up here is magnesium. It comes with a plastic guard. I know their brushless version comes with a magnesium guard, so if that's an issue for you, you may want to look at the brushless saw. Up front, you've got your viewing windows for your 45-degree and your straight line cuts. I don't typically use those. I go by line of sight off the blade. They've got provision for one of those little guides that you can use on there. I don't think it came with the saw, at least I never saw it. I don't use that guide anyway, so that's of no importance to me. On the back, you've also got your viewing windows for your 45-degree and your straight line cut. Depth of cut is over here, and you adjust that by way of this lever here. I'll show you that in a second. And tilt or bevel is up front. And I believe that goes up to 53 degrees. And I'll show you that in a second. Blade lock is over here. And then up in the handle is the Allen wrench that you use for blade changes, and I'll get into that in just a second as well. It's not a light saw by any stretch, if you've used a trim saw in the past, but it is not a heavy saw either. My Mag77 is a lot heavier than this saw. It's more of a balanced weight to it. One of the things I've got to get used to is the safety that's up here. So in order to activate the trigger, you have to depress the safety. Like I said, that's going to take some getting used to. Will not work without depressing the safety. So let's get into some of the features. I'll show you the depth of cut and the bevel or tilt. So bevel is pretty typical of most saws. Goes up to 51 degrees. There are no detents. You know, you have to stop where you want it, which is typical of most saws, to be honest with you. Depth of cut is this lever over on this side. And total depth of cut is 2 1/8. Blade changes on this saw are pretty easy. Again, here's your wrench stored up in the handle, out of the way. Your blade lock is right here. And Milwaukee actually put some thought into this, because all you do is turn the saw on its side, like so. And then you hit your blade lock down here. And then you just put your wrench on and you're good to go. But it's perfectly balanced by itself. So, and then when you're done, your wrench just goes right back in here. And again, that's right out of the way. Don't even know it's there. So, good on you, Milwaukee. I like that. There's a saw up against my tried and true Mag77. Two totally different saws, but similar in one key way: left line of sight. That is something that I just wasn't willing to compromise on. They make saws right line of sight and left line of sight, but being that I've used this Mag77 for as long as I have, it's a muscle memory thing. You get out on the job sites, one less thing you got to think about, and I just wasn't willing to. If I was going to get into the cordless saw arena, I wasn't willing to compromise on. So that's one of the things that drew me to this Milwaukee. This saw, you can see I pinned my guard. Don't pin your guard. I framed with a guy for a little bit and I was his cut man and I got into some bad habits. It's not smart. Don't pin your guard. But this saw is a saw that's going to pull you through the cut, primarily due to its weight. Whereas the Milwaukee is a more balanced saw and you'll be pushing the saw through the cut, which is a little different for me. It's going to take some time to get used to, but definitely not a deal breaker by any means. Handle positioning is relatively similar. So getting back to the Milwaukee, would I recommend this saw? I absolutely would. Some of the pros to this, obviously you don't have a cord. And when I was doing the fence work, not having the cord getting hung up on the top of the fence posts, etc., was definitely a plus. And not dragging a cord through minefields. A client that owns a dog, that was another plus. In terms of power, you're not going to be able to have the same power that you would with a Mag77. You just wouldn't. And to be honest with you, the cord, to me, there are some benefits when you are up on a roof or you're up on a ladder and you need to get your saw down and you don't want to have to pack it down with you. A lot of times you'll drop your saw by the cord, and that's one of the main reasons why I've never really had any intention to go get a cordless SkilSaw, for that very reason. For those of you that are in construction, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that are homeowners, that's probably not a big deal to you, having the cord and being able to drop the saw with the cord. But it's definitely a negative for me, so that's why this one will just never replace my Mag77. It's always going to be my secondary trim saw, and just out of necessity would I use this saw like I did on my prior job. So anyway, I'm really happy with it thus far. Like I said, I've used it on a couple jobs now, and it's got plenty of power. Ergonomics are good. It's quiet. And like I said, it's that automatic stop feature at the end there when you let off the triggers. Just, it's nice. And it's got all the adjustments that my Mag77 has. So anyway, Hope you enjoyed this video. If you got any other questions on the saw, let me know. I'll probably do an update on this probably within the next year or two, as I've got some more hours on the saw. But so far right now, I'm pretty happy with the saw. Again, this is a Milwaukee 2630/20 brushed circular saw, 6.5-inch blade. Real happy with it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.